How you doing, guys? Steve here again today. I want to give you guys an update on my my treatment and how my depression and anxiety is going. For the last couple days, I've had an increase in depression, and it's been pissing me off. Today's somewhat of a better day, but I've also been watching what I've been eating the last couple days, and it's made a difference. So I've noticed a comparison on when I eat like shit, I feel like shit. I told you guys in previous videos I've been trying to supplement omega-3 fatty acids into my diet, into my regimen. My regimen every day was alongside my medication. I had informed you guys I was taking 2 of my omega-3 supplement pills, and I developed gastrointestinal symptoms, such as nausea, diarrhea, upset stomach, a lot of gas, a lot of bloating. I think it was too much of a shock to my system, getting too much of a good thing all at once. It was too much of a jolt that my body can't handle. I think I need to start off a little slower, get my body used to actually having something good in it than all the crap I've been putting into it for years upon years. Now, I had my doctor's visit yesterday. I found out that my folic acid is fine. My glutamic acid levels are fine. Homocysteine levels were fine. I had my MTHFR gene checked, which came back with a positive mutation or abnormality in this gene that said I have an increase in blood clotting. So that's something I have to see a hematologist about, but wasn't what I was looking for. I was looking for a abnormality that would change the way that my body metabolizes, or would be enabled to metabolize vitamin B's and vitamin D's, which is a big cause and concern for the mental health community. So my doctor gave me all this information, and he was ready to wash his hands with me and say, levels came back good, Steve. What's your concern? So I began to explain to him that I spoke with my psychiatrist, how my serotonin levels are too low, and he told me that my test results came back within range. I said, yes, they're within range, but they're still too low. They're not nearly as close to the average human, and it's not a good thing, so I need to get them up. So my doctor asked me, what did my psychiatrist suggest? And I was blatantly honest. I told him my psychiatrist suggested a different antidepressant because my current one wasn't working, and she told me that this is what we're working on, is getting my serotonin levels up. So my doctor said, why haven't you tried the antidepressant? And I told him how SNRIs and SSRIs work. Now, my primary care physician, he's pretty good. He's better than a lot of doctors I've seen, but he's not prone and accustomed to how psychiatric medicines work. So I began to try and explain to him, but after doing so much research and reading up on so much stuff and watching so many videos and diving into the plethora of knowledge that so many people have in the internet, my message wasn't getting across quite clear to him. He said his head was spinning and I was making no sense. So I told him that, picture that you have a car, your car is your brain, and that your car needs 5 liters of oil to run properly. I said, picture now you put 1 liter of oil in your car. Your car is going to run, but it's going to run like shit. This is the comparison I said. Now, I told him that there's a cap on your oil tank. When you get an oil change, they loosen the cap and oil comes out. Now, I said this is what SSRIs and SNRIs do. It's like a cap that blocks the reuptake of serotonin. It doesn't produce any more serotonin. So I explained to him why this is why I haven't switched to a different antidepressant, because it doesn't fix the problem. It only stops it from getting worse. And eventually I would need to switch or up my dosage on my antidepressant, which is where I'm at now. I don't want to change antidepressants. I don't want to go up on dose. I don't want to keep increasing and increasing and increasing something that doesn't solve the problem. So like I told you guys, I've been doing my research on amino acids and nutrition and how it all can come into play. So my doctor asked me, Steve, what do you want to do? I said, I want to get my serotonin levels up naturally. He said, well, what do you suggest that we do? He said that the last time I saw him, he said that I'm so knowledgeable about this topic that I should go become a psychiatrist once I'm healed. So he asked me, and he works with me pretty well. He listens to me. So I began describing everything that I've researched and everything that I've learned, and how there's precursors to make serotonin, such as your epinephrines and your 5-HTs, vitamin Ds, your B6s, and I just started going off. And he said, Steve, you gotta slow down. He said, let's do one thing at a time. So I started to explain. He would type into his computer the first thing I said, and then he would type into his computer the second thing I said, and so on and so forth. And as I'm explaining slowly, I feel like I'm nuts. I feel like I'm never gonna get better, and I feel like that I'm hopeless, and I'm just doomed to feel like this for the rest of my life. The more words that come out of my mouth. And finally, at the end of my spiel, my explanation, I looked up, because I realized I hadn't been looking at my doctor this whole time, because I somewhat felt ashamed that I was saying all this stuff that he had no idea what I was talking about. But as he was looking at what I was saying, and he was researching on the computer as I was explaining it, when we finally caught eye contact, he said, Steve, I had no idea what you were talking about, but now I do, and you are definitely on to something. So I basically told him how the tryptophan, L-tryptophan, your 5-HTPs, all your vitamins, and all, stuff like niacin, and there's all these different chemicals, amino acids, nutrients that are involved in making the necessary components to create serotonin, to naturally boost serotonin. So I told him I want to try out supplements as far as 5-HTP and tryptophan and niacin, and he said, let's not jump the gun. So he gave me a list of foods that will naturally boost my tryptophan levels, because he agreed that tryptophan is a natural precursor to the synthesizing production of serotonin. Now, what he printed out and gave to me is from a website called healthline.com. What this basically says is 7 foods that could boost your serotonin, the serotonin diet. Serotonin is a chemical messenger that's believed to act as a mood stabilizer. It's said to help produce healthy sleeping patterns as well as boost your mood. Studies show that serotonin levels can have an effect on mood and behavior. And the chemical is commonly linked to feeling good and living longer. No shit. Supplements can increase your serotonin levels via the amino acid tryptophan. Serotonin is synthesized from tryptophan. But for a more natural approach to possibly increasing your serotonin levels, you can try eating foods that contain tryptophan. While research is ongoing to determine how much tryptophan-containing foods can affect serotonin levels in the brain, it is known that tryptophan depletion is seen in those with mood disorders such as depression and anxiety. Ding ding ding. Research has also shown that when a tryptophan diet research has shown that when a low tryptophan diet is followed, brain serotonin levels drop. So what this guide suggests is your increased intake in eggs, cheese, pineapples, tofu, salmon, nuts and seeds, and turkey. So my doctor suggested instead of jumping straight to the supplements, we're going to have my blood tested. And my blood test that I'm now have to wait a week for, it's a long freaking process, guys, are going to be my levels of tryptophan, my levels of 5-HT, my levels of 5-HIAA, my levels of tyrosine, and I believe there was one more. I forget how to pronounce this, but phenylalanine. That's basically how I pronounce it. Anyways, I want to give a big shout out to somebody on YouTube who was depressed and had anxiety and as well as depersonalization for a long time. And his name is Noah. I think he lives somewhere out west. But he was depressed and anxious for 1 year and tried multiple drugs, tried different treatments, even got to shock therapy. I think he did TMS, not ECT, and nothing worked for him. And finally someone has suggested getting blood work, a complete in and out blood work of his entire body. And he found out he had low testosterone. So he was my main motivation on realizing that there's more to it than just taking medicine and going to therapy. They do help. Therapy helped me a shit ton. Medicine helped me to get to this point where my serotonin levels would stop dropping. It keeps the serotonin that I have, the very little amount that I have in my body. But it's not the fix, guys. And as Noah found out, and he made plenty of videos, is that he made videos on his journey through his depression, his anxiety, and now today, to my knowledge, he's 99% cured, and it led me down the road of testing my testosterone, which I did, which came back fine. But it also led me to think of that there's other reasons why you could be depressed and other reasons why you can be anxious. So don't feel nuts doing this research, guys. Don't feel like you're obsessed, because there's nothing wrong with wanting to feel better. So I'm gonna try this diet. I'm gonna boost all my protein intakes, my eggs, my cheeses, fruits, pineapples, vegetables, you name it, I'm gonna do it, on top of everything else that I've been doing with my vitamins and my exercise. I'm gonna give it a shot, because I don't find out my test results on this new blood work for about a week and a half. So we're gonna give it a shot, and we're gonna see if my levels are so low that I will need a supplement like I do for vitamin D and vitamin B6. and we're gonna go from there. So that's my update for today, guys. I wish you the best of luck with your mood disorders. I hope that this video helped you out. I'm gonna leave a link to Noah's YouTube channel. He was, like I said, my biggest influence on doing this research and finding a different reason why it's happening, why the fuck this is happening. He's my biggest motivator and opened my eyes to a lot of stuff and led me down this road. Even though he doesn't know it, he has no clue who I am. But I'll leave a link. You guys can look at his videos, and he seems like a great guy. He does pretty informative stuff, and he doesn't sugarcoat anything. He tells you the truth just like I'm telling you the truth. So anyways, guys, if you're having a hard day, if you're having a good day, good for you. If you're having a bad day, keep your heads up, you keep fighting and you keep surviving. Things will get better as long as you want them to and as long as you make some changes. I love you guys, and I hope you're feeling better, and I hope you feel better quicker than I do. I'll talk to you guys next time.